Good morning, it's Mrs. Martin here to talk to you about natural selection. These slides are your notes and your analysis activity. So, natural selection is this process of individuals selecting mates with traits that allow them to survive and reproduce at a higher rate. It is the key mechanism of evolution, and the change in the heritable traits characteristic of a population over many, many generations. Remember, evolution takes a really long time to happen. You can see over here on the right, an example is the first generation has more light mice than dark mice. But the first generation of owls with poor eyesight rather than good sight, the owls with poor eyesight eat the more visible mice, and owls with good sight are also moderately successful. What happens then is that the mice with light fur are hunted. Some dark mice might still get eaten, but few light mice start to remain. And so the survivors start to be more repopulating, and they start to select each other as the darker ones, knowing that the lighter mice are going to not have a better chance of surviving. So they don't want to have babies that have light fur because they've been selected by the owls to be eaten. Now, owls with poor eyesight can't find food easily, so they start to starve and reproduce at a lower rate. And then the owls with the good eyes survive, and then the owls with the good eyes start hunting the dark-furred mice. And they outcompete the other owls with the poor eyesight and start to survive. And it becomes a cycle. And then the dark mice start being eaten, thereby the light mice might not be selected as often. And you'll see this predator-prey like graph that you experienced in 7th grade in the process of natural selection. Now, for today, what you're going to do is you're going to take notes onto your website. You want to just jot down the basic requirements for natural selection to happen in a population. There needs to be multiple variations of a trait in a population, such with the beetles, green and brown beetles. Differential reproduction has to be there. That means there needs to be competition for limited resources. In other words, if you have a trait, you're going to survive better than one of the other ones. For example, the green beetles get eaten by the birds before they can reproduce. And then there has to be some sort of heredity where the traits are able to be passed down and shown in the offspring. So things like skin color and sun damage due to sun exposure, that's not a trait you can pass down. Then, once you're done, let's look at mechanisms of evolution. Natural selection, there has to be variations. Mutations can occur to make new traits. And then also migration can happen. Maybe they move into a different area with a new environment, and new adaptations might be more beneficial than previous ones. And then also this term called genetic drift, you'll experience more in future lessons in genetics, but it's basically around the randomness of the world, and that you might have a higher fitness just because you avoided being stepped on, or a random event in nature. Now, this is your analysis activity. There is an Edpuzzle video for you to watch. You're going to complete this diagram here on the right, but don't forget to add these 3 requirements and where they occur. As you watch the video, you'll be able to fill this diagram in and then submit it in your Google Classroom. I hope you're doing well. Class of 2020, this is your very last activity. We are so, so proud of you as your science teachers. All the best of luck to you, and we will see you soon. As always, your teachers are available on Zoom if you have any questions.